the Rangers to win last night. And the reason why is because it was around the beginning of the game. I told my wife, babe, I'm going to go upstairs. I'm going to cut my hair and take a shower and get ready for bed. So I go upstairs. The first intermission, I was dropping a deuce. The second one, I was cutting my hair. But the third one, I was actually in the shower, fully nude. We started catching up. And I thought about you guys, like, oh, my gosh, I'm fully nude.
Thought about Michael.
And we're winning. I said, this has to be. I was done with the shower, but I decided to stay there the whole entire quarter to see if we will win, and we actually won the game. So, wow. You're welcome, guys. And also, I was the one who called last year when I asked you, Don, if I should be a Devils fan or a Rangers fan, because I go to Devils games, but I'm a Knicks fan. And I told myself that day, I was like, you know what? Since I'm a Mets fan, I don't root for the. I always root for the underdog. So whoever loses this series, I will become a fan of. Rangers lost, and here we are today. So thank you. Full circle.
I'm glad that you enjoyed it in the nude, as I've been a big proponent of. You know what I have here? Right?
That was a little too much information in that call, but I appreciate it.
I think he mispronounced. His name is Zeus. He was dropping a Zeus.
He was dropping a Zeus, and also just tighten it up a little bit. It's periods, not quarters.
Wow.
But that's all right. I waited till he was off.
He's in
Peter, you can't let that. You can't let that lie.
Playing the role of Michael K. is Don LaGreca.
No, because I'm not going to rip him because he's new to the sport. But that doesn't mean you can't tighten it up a little bit.
Tonight's Yankees starting lineup.
Of course, I need it so
White
desperately.
Sox on 98.7 ESPN is brought to you by Bigelow Tea and CertaPro Painters. Here we go. Riding an 8-game hitting streak, Anthony Volpe, the shortstop, leads off. Juan Soto, 3 for his last 26 in right field, about second. Batting third, the hottest player in baseball, center fielder Aaron Judge. The people I called that wanted him to be benched, please call back. Please, I beg you, because I want you to plead your abject stupidity to me. Please do that. Thank you. Alex Verdugo on left will clean up. Batting fifth and DHing, Giancarlo Stanton. The people that wanted Stanton released, I want you to call up. Please call up. I want you to plead your abject stupidity to me. Anthony Rizzo at first base will bat sixth. Batting seventh, playing second base, Gleyber Torres. Austin Wells will catch. He's going to bat eighth. Batting ninth, playing third base, Oswaldo Cabrera. And Nestor Cortez is going to start for the Yankees against the White Sox. That is tonight's Yankees starting lineup, brought to you by Bigelow Tea. Bigelow Tea is a proud supporter of the Michael K. Show and the official hot tea of the New York Yankees. And CertaPro Painters, when choosing a painting professional for your home or business, the choice is simple. Choose happy. Choose CertaPro Painters. Now, I have a dilemma tonight.
Go ahead.
So one of the things that Jody wanted for her birthday was the show in the city, and it's some show that's produced by Penn and Teller.
Okay.
It's this, like, supposedly unbelievable magician.
Okay.
And so I got her tickets for May 17th, Friday night.
All right. Are you more a Penn guy or a Teller guy?
I like Penn Station. I don't like, Miles Teller. So I'm going to the show with her.
All right.
So I can't see the Knicks game.
Wait. Tonight?
Yeah.
Well, you can't go.
The tickets are bought.
But does she have any friends?
8 o'clock.
Did she take a girlfriend with her?
No, she's going with her husband. Now, here's a reaction. I went to the kids had something at school today, so I went, and I said to Charlie, as I was leaving, I said, remember the Knicks game tonight? And he goes, you're home, right? I said, no, I'm going to a show with Mommy. And he goes, really?
Really? He even knows.
Yeah, he knows. But you know what? As you've said, Don, while you travel to go see, Mama's family, you do things for your wife.
See?
It all comes back, Don. I got so many reactions. Jody comes up to me today before I'm leaving. She goes, were you talking about Vicki Lawrence on the show?
Sure we were.
So many people, her friends texted her that their husbands were in the car laughing and had to pull over to the side of the road when we talked about Mama's family.
Now, any of those friends can go tonight?
They all could go. I'm her husband. I'll go. It's not like there's a show tomorrow. If there was a show tomorrow, it'd be a different story.
No, I'm just saying. You got her tickets to go to the show. She's going to the show.
With her husband.
You don't talk during the show.
We might be chosen to do a magic trick.
Is that what you're hoping for?
That might be a drop. I'm not sure.
You know what? Magic shows really annoy me.
Why is that, Michael?
Because they don't tell you how they do it.
Oh, yeah.
Well, then why would you watch it then?
I want to know how they did this. I mean, I don't want to sit there and be befuddled. Gee, how'd they do that? And then you never know the answer.
Well, then it's not magic. Because you don't think magic really exists, do you?
There might be some magic in the air.
You're unbelievable.
Love is in the air. All right, let's go to Lang in Connecticut. Lang, what's up?
Well, Michael, you're a much better man and husband than I'll ever be, because I had dinner reservations for my wife's birthday tonight, and I had to push it back to tomorrow night because of the Knicks.
And your wife was understanding?
I told her when we got married 10 years ago that my passion for the Knicks predates meeting her, and she needs to understand that.
What if your wife was going into labor tonight? What would you do?
I'd watch it on my phone in the hospital, and then let she go.
Okay, good answer.
So why can't you watch it on your phone during dinner?
Well, that's rude.
Well, because then she's just going to say, put your phone away every 2 seconds.
But you just told her that the Nick love predates. I'm just trying to see if you can find a happy medium here. If she's okay with you moving the date, then I would think she'd be okay with you watching the phone.
That's just
Yeah,
rude.
but then I get belligerent when I watch Knicks games, and they're going to kick me out of the restaurant in Larchmont. But anyway, I wanted to make mention of a few things. Not to belabor the point, Michael, but I do agree with you on the call.
No.
Take it from someone who actually teaches sports psych at your prestigious, beloved alma mater here in the Bronx.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Cool.
You know, I mentioned just an adjunct, so don't get too
All right,
excited.
yeah.
But
Professor Jays.
yeah, right.
Why are you being mean, Peter?
Well, no, it's the
the guy teaches the future, and you're taking a shot at him?
No, it's not a diss. Wouldn't you agree that adjunct is like Professor Jays?
Well, I have a full-time job doing something else, and then you know.
so
that's
exactly.
something that
Like, don't listen to him.
I think
Please
we're all on the
go on.
same page. Go
Kind
ahead,
of like you, Peter. You know, you've got a few jobs, right?
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
I like Lang. Please go on, Lang.
All right. So, just a quick thing on the Rangers, and I'll get to the Knicks. When that second goal went in, when it was kind of wedged on the floor under his mitt, and then it kind of slipped in. Oh, my goodness. I knew just then and there, even though they were down by one still, that they were going to win that. Because the look on Anderson's face, it was like he saw a ghost. I mean, he was petrified. It reminded him of when it hit off his backside the game or two prior. He was just befuddled. He said, what am I supposed to do?
Their goalies were not up to the challenge in the series. I agree.
Yeah, it was a beautiful thing last night. I've been smiling all day. You know, it's easy to ruminate about the losses, but you got to make a real mindful effort to really celebrate the win. So
That's a good way to put it. Yep.
Yeah. So with the Knicks, similar to Game 6 in Philadelphia, we need to come out with a killer instinct. I don't know what Thibodeau needs to tell these guys, if he needs to even say anything. I don't know what hypnosis or pregame speech they need to go under, but they have to come out and treat this like a Game 7. They need to have the right mindset. They need to hit them first or withstand the storm, because if it goes back to the Garden for Game 7, 36-hour turnaround, I just don't know if the Knicks can pull it out, even with the Garden faithful behind them.
But
really
Lang, my question would be then, well, why would the Pacers be able to pull it out? So, I mean, the Pacers are going to be just as desperate as the Knicks. So, if they have a Game 7 attitude, this is Game 7 for the Pacers, right? They have to win this game, otherwise their season is over. So I think it has the potential to be a great game. Did you see what motivated the Knicks before Game 5?
I read something.
It's unbelievable.
You talking about the flatulence?
Yeah. I mean, we live in a different society now. We really do.
No, I don't think that they meant that's why they won. No one said...
They said that loosened everybody up, and they went out and played well.
That didn't inspire them. It just loosened them up.
There's a difference there.
No one said, hey, do it for the fart.
They didn't rally around the fallen fart.
Yeah.
As the smell died, they mourned its presence being gone, and then were inspired. It was just a...
Well, no.
But, I mean, these are all about 30-year-old men, and
come on,
a fart, really? Like,
Michael, it'll always be forever funny. I'm sorry.
That's the thing. Now, listen, if you had said that we found out the speech that was given before the half, Tom Thibodeau stood up in front of the room and said, while everyone was quiet, just said, pull my finger. And that was his pregame speech.
After they pulled the finger, they played the John Tush music.
Right.
And that did.
And then everyone said that was the whole speech. That's a conversation. But this is not what happened.
I heard this is what was playing.
No.
And this is what NBC's going with if they get basketball back.
I just don't see it happening.
Fought now.
I don't know what it is. It happens that the kids find it funny. It just never goes away. It is It's the joke that just keeps on giving. So I think that's fine.
No, Flatulence has been on a good run.
Yeah, very good.
I've got something to take up with you guys.
Oh.
So you trying to turn Griffin against me because you took him first or second?
Yeah, because you have an issue with him. You're a bad guy.
I don't have an issue with him. I don't think that everybody gets to be automatic. Just because you call right away, you don't get to be taken.
Yeah, but 3 hours is ridiculous. He's a friend of the show. He's a regular. A regular shouldn't be on hold for 3 hours.
But you tried to turn him against me, and that's
wasn't hard to do.
That's fool's gold.
Wasn't hard to do.
We didn't turn him against you. We just said, you know what? We pick you up quickly. Right. Michael leaves you on hold.
We're just stating a reality. That what was happening at that moment would not happen if Michael were here.
You're right.
How are you?
Right. So what's the problem?
Yeah. Why do you? Yeah. So what? All we did was point out the truth.
But why are you trying to turn a caller against me? I don't get it. How does that benefit you guys?
I think the better question is why are you leaving him on hold for 3 hours?
Yeah, why do you hate Griffin?
I don't hate Griffin. I take him every day. Doesn't mean he gets to be in the first hour.
No, you generally leave him for a very long time.
Well, what are you going to do? And I leave Richard, too.
Well, Richard is a different story.
Well, why is it a different story?
Well, because Richard has teeth to pull. Things have to get done.
Some calls that some people have, it feels like being
I asked Richard
teeth
again.
pulled.
You know what? See, that's it. Now you let the truth out. That's how you feel about Griffin.
No, I think Griffin's great.
All right.
Small doses.
I asked Richard, I said maybe Anthony, didn't do a good job convincing Richard that he should do a little feature with New York Nico.
Right.
So I said, let me ask Richard.
Uh-huh.
Not only did he shoot me down, but he did classic
Was this
Richard.
on the air?
Yes.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
Shoots you down and then moves on to the next subject.
He doesn't, because he doesn't want to engage.
No interest in engaging. And then he told us a story about meeting the Queen of England.
Oh, that was his in the wild.
Queen of England. Did he pull her teeth?
That was his in the wild.
In the wild, while he was working at Bloomingdale's.
During the
He went to
bison.
Bloomingdale's.
Yeah, he was selling socks.
Yeah, during the bicentennial. And then he gave us a list of people he sold socks to.
Yeah, you missed.
He sold socks to Queen Elizabeth?
No, he said that all he got from
Prince
Elizabeth, or him and Elizabeth just shared a glance.
I sold a lot of socks.
Oh, my God. You missed a day.
Yeah.
And a life has been lived. And yet this man who wants
That would be an unbelievable story to tell.
But here's the thing. How can you want to be on the air every day? But if someone says, hey, we'd love to tell your story because you're an interesting New Yorker, absolutely not. That's not what I'm about. But you are a public figure every day. He may be our most known caller at this point. Mm-hmm. I mean, in a lot of ways, I think Richard's the best caller because his calls are either fantastic or awful. That's good stuff.
But maybe he doesn't exist. Maybe it's a guy playing a role.
I think it's the opposite. I think it's one of those things that he cannot see that he's a character. He can't. It's like he's so the real deal. He's so authentic that he doesn't even understand what's going on.
Offer money. Maybe that's what he's waiting for.
It's a good point. Or maybe New York Nico could just make an appointment to get his teeth done.
Right.
And record it.
Yeah.
That would be something.
And then it'll be like Sweeney Todd.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, he'll just kill New York Nico.
It would be like Sweeney Todd meets Sweeney Murdy.
Yeah. Hey, don't be the guy with the T-shirt on in the pool this summer.
Switch to Square and join over 4 million businesses worldwide. Turn tables fast with Square Register at the counter or Square Terminal in your hand. Get a POS that connects to a KDS to handle orders ASAP. Easily take orders in person or online. And with Square Banking, get a loan quickly for everything from small repairs to the biggest dreams. Gain time and peace of mind with restaurant tools that bring everything together. Switch to Square today. Visit square.com to get started.
Switch to Square and join over 4 million businesses worldwide. Scheduling is easy with Square appointments. Clients can book online 24/7. Take payments at your station or the front desk. To offer seamless checkouts. Keep track of commissions and split tips with just a few clicks. Gain time and peace of mind with beauty tools that bring everything together. Switch to Square today at square.com.
With ButcherBox, you never have to worry about what's for dinner. We deliver grass-fed beef, organic free-range chicken, humanely raised pork, wild-caught seafood, and so much more. Get high-quality meat sourced from trusted partners with free shipping always, so you can always be prepared and enjoy the important things. Sign up for ButcherBox today.
They said optical shops weren't very inviting, so we, Warby Parker, created ones that were. They said prescription eyewear was too expensive, so we offered more affordable glasses, contacts, and eye exams. They said opticians weren't always friendly, so we hired only the friendliest and the most knowledgeable. And finally, they said the whole experience was just kind of unpleasant, so we set out to change that too. Visit a Warby Parker store and see for yourself.
Let's explore your future with Udemy. You can learn how to program and build websites, study design and create logos, improve your presentation skills, and sell your ideas. With Udemy, you can learn practical skills from thousands of online courses taught by real-world experts. Explore your future. Udemy.
With Home Chef's new family menu, cooking for the whole family is so simple. You go from step 1 to done with practically no fuss. Simply prep, cook, and enjoy with the whole family. Get 18 free meals today at homechef.com.
It's really Saturday. New players get 200 chances at winning with their first deposit on FanDuel Casino.
1 in 6 black men will be diagnosed with prostate cancer in his lifetime.
But when it's caught early, it's highly treatable.
For more than 30 years, PCF has funded cutting-edge research. Go to pcf.org/knowyourrisk to learn more about prostate cancer.
It's your life.
Chris Sheeran back here for the Michael K. Show. The New York Rangers advancing to the Eastern Conference Finals is brought to you by Montefiore Einstein, the official hospital of the New York Yankees. This will be the 5th conference finals since 2011-2012. That's when Chris Kreider burst onto the scene right out of college. He debuted in the quarterfinals that season against the Ottawa Senators. Since then, he has become the Rangers' leading goal scorer in the playoffs, and he kept adding to that total last night in an elimination game against the Hurricanes, scoring not 1, not 2, but 3 times in the third period to complete the Rangers' comeback. Just call him Natty Ice. That is a natural hat trick for Kreider and a series-ending win for the Rangers. And that performance puts him into a select club of blue shirts. Just 3 men have scored a hat trick in a series-clinching win: Kreider, Mike Gartner, and Steve Vickers. Mark Messier had a third-period hat trick as well, but that was to stave off elimination in a guarantee Game 6 against the Devils back in 1994. Those 3 goals just keep adding to Kreider's playoff leading ledger when it comes to lamplighters. He now has 47 and another series to get some more. The next active player that list is Mika Zibanejad, and Kreider has 30 more goals than he does. Up next for the Blue Shirts in the Eastern Conference Finals, the Boston Bruins or the Florida Panthers.
Well, this is your Knicks playoff preview brought to you by ZipRecruiter. Scout your next teammate with ZipRecruiter, the smartest way to hire. Knicks and the Pacers tonight, a big Game 6, and the Rangers got things done in Game 6. Same situation on the road. The Knicks are up 3-2. The Rangers were up 3-2. Rangers fell behind. Rangers stormed back. Natural hat trick by Chris Kreider. And who's going to step up for the Knicks? We know if he's healthy, Brunson's going to have a Brunson game, but somebody else has to step up. Will it be Hart? Will it be DiVincenzo? And by the way, all people that were complaining about Tibbs, it's an 8-man rotation again because of Burks. So it's not like. And another thing, did you see the Luka Doncic is supposedly in extraordinary pain. Extraordinary pain. Bad knees, bad back, and he's really, really hurting. I think he's averaging 42 minutes a game, more than any Nick. But Tibbs gets ripped. Right. Nobody says a word about Jason Kidd. Because this is what you do in the playoffs. Your best players play all the time.
So, who made the joke? Was a PFT commenter? One of the Barstool guys made a joke the other day that the reason that Minnesota lost 3 straight games was because Tibbs coached them too hard 4 years ago.
It's a great line.
It's a really great line. But also, it does remind you that, like, you know, as great as OG is, when contract time comes, the fact that it was speculated that he wasn't a guy who plays through pain, and even though we hate to doubt anyone's injuries, it does appear that he is a guy who needs to be 100% to go.
Yep.
And that is a little bit frustrating.
It's hard to question a guy. I mean, he's a free agent. If he could play, he would play.
For sure.
His money was going up.
But didn't they always say it was sort of like a pain threshold issue?
Yeah, but hamstrings aren't.
I know hamstrings. If they're bad, they're bad. But what is it? Is this the third injury since he got here?
Well, he had the elbow, then he had the surgery, then he came back and he kind of re-injured it, then sat out again, and now this.
So yeah, it's the third time that we've lost him.
And the Raptors championship run, he had an emergency appendectomy.
And this goes back to the thing that I used to fight with Andrew about.
Andrew Gunling.
That's right. When is it someone being predisposed to injury, and when is it just like bad luck? Where does that line sort of get drawn?
Well, I don't think an appendectomy is a predisposition to injury. I mean, that's bad luck.
It is just bad luck. Listen, I had one happen. It's not what you want. But when these things happen at inopportune times over and over again, Don, I still think you have to factor it when you're deciding on the future with someone.
But injury prone is injury prone. I mean, Andrew's side of the argument, Michael, was always, well, it's not a chronic injury. It's just wacky things seem to happen to Nick Foles, and that's why
to Wentz.
Right. But that, to me, it's, if you get injured a lot, regardless of the circumstances, you're injury prone. I mean, it's not even your fault. It's something that always seems to occur. It doesn't mean you can't handle injury. It doesn't mean you're stupid. It's just that for some reason you're predisposed to getting hurt for whatever reason. Now, I don't know how you guys look at it. I don't see the sense of urgency to win this game the way the Rangers felt the same sense of urgency in their Game 6 last night, because you didn't want to have to go from 3-0 up to now have to play a Game 7. If the Knicks lose, they lose. They're taking on a team that hasn't lost a home game since March. I mean, would it be that devastating? You'd like to close it out, no question, but would that affect how you think Game 7 would go if they were to lose a hard-fought game tonight?
No. Like Peter asked me earlier, if they lose, do I think they'd win Game 7? Yeah. I wouldn't be petrified.
No, but you'd be petrified as a Ranger fan. Oh, my God, we got to go to Game 7 after being up 3-0. Hey, it's been a back-and-forth series. They both exchanged blowouts. If anything, you saw the Knicks were able to overcome their blowout. Why can't the Pacers overcome theirs at home? Now, I don't want, if the Knicks got blown out again, or if Brunson looks like a shell of himself, there'd be things obviously to be concerned about. But if this is a good back-and-forth game and the Knicks lose by a possession, I've got every reason to believe they'll bounce back and win on Sunday.
Now, Kevin in New Jersey is heading to the Knicks game.
There
Kevin, you're driving to Indiana?
Michael, Don, and Peter, thank you so much for having me on the show, boys. I have gone a long way to be here. I left my apartment in Atlanta, Georgia this morning at 3.
Oh, my.
I drove through the night. I bought $72 tickets off a TickPick. I am excited to be here, gentlemen. I'm staring at the stadium right now.
Wow.
I can't wait to, I drove through the night. I got into a car accident. I ran out of gas.
No.
I have been through hell.
Wait,
but I know this.
Go ahead.
I know this, Peter, Don, and Mike. We're going to win Game 6. In a few hours, I'm going to be having a few drinks. I drove 7.5 hours to get here. I'm pumped, man. I called the morning show this morning for the first time, and I told Dan Grassa and
Dave
I forget his
Rothenberg.
name. Dave. I told him that I was leaving Atlanta, driving through Nashville, making my way to Indiana. And I did it, man. I did it. I had some problems on the road, but this is a beautiful town, and we're going to take it over. I'm wearing my Carmelo Anthony Syracuse jersey. I can't wait to, man. I can't wait.
You got to get yourself a late reservation at St. Elmo's tonight and polish off the night with a steak and some shrimp.
How close is it to? How close is it to the? Okay.
It's downtown. Yeah, look up St. Elmo's right now.
Yeah, but
Get
I
that
think,
shrimp cocktail.
I think it'll be closed by the time the game's.
No, I think.
Oh yes, it's 7 there.
Yeah, and I think they're open like 11 o'clock.
No, it's not 7 there. It's Indianapolis is the same time.
Oh,
yeah. You know what? You got to go before. He's right. It's an 8 o'clock tip.
yeah.
I forgot.
Go now, Kev.
Go now. Get yourself a steak.
Can I just say one more thing?
Yes.
Please.
My cat passed away last Tuesday, and I've been dealing with this. I've been dealing with some things. Peter, I've talked to you before about getting divorced last year, and this next season is so special for me, and I'm just so happy with how far we've come. Never take anything for granted, man, because you never know what's going to happen tomorrow. And I'm just so excited to be here. Thank you guys for having me on the show. God bless.
Oh, enjoy it. God bless you, buddy.
Very cool. Let's go to Bruce in Pleasant Valley Sunday. What's up, Bruce?
Hey, guys, this is great. First-time caller, long-time listener.
Welcome aboard, man.
Thank you so much. Peter, I just want to call and say, don't give up on the Celtics. I'm a Celtics fan. I live in New York. I'm a Red Sox fan, Redskins fan, WWE fan.
Oh, God, you're with me.
You got to stay true to your teams no matter what.
But he won't
I'm
be.
with you, brother.
But he won't be true to his team if he's not rooting for him at the Garden, if he's at the game. Imagine this, Bruce. You're sitting behind him.
Always gotta be a fan.
But let me tell you. Let me ask you this way, because I guess this is something that could happen. So you're at the game, and you get great seats. You're sitting behind Billy Crystal and Peter Rosenberg. And you're striking up a conversation with Peter. Peter's telling you about how he grew up a Celtic fan, loved Larry Bird. And you're at Game 6, 3-2. And the Celtics close it out. And Peter's not cheering. He's not clapping. But you know he's a Celtic fan. So you go to high-five him. And Peter doesn't high-five you back because he thinks it'd be disrespectful to the Knicks fans and to the Knicks if he high-fives you in celebration that the Celtics won. Are you still going to want him as a fan?
Absolutely.
Well, that's on you.
Absolutely.
Thank you. He understands.
Bruce is weird.
I've gone to Yankee Stadium wearing my Red Sox gear to support my team in enemy territory.
We're not questioning your fandom, Bruce.
Yeah,
we know you're a
You're
fan.
the real deal. You're the real deal, Bruce. We're saying that Peter's not the real deal
anymore.
No, I got you.
You know what else I might need to accept, though? What was the gentleman's name again?
Bruce from Pleasant Valley Sunday.
I like Bruce a lot. And you know what it is, Bruce? Maybe I need to stop worrying about the judgment from Michael and Don. And I just need to be okay being a fraud.
But no.
Like maybe I should just embrace being a fraud.
But see,
why not?
You're misunderstanding. I can't speak for Michael. I can't speak for Michael, but you're misunderstanding me.
All right.
I'm not calling you a fraud. I'm just saying your fandom is so compromised because you live in New York and you like the Knicks, and it's good for you and it's good for your brand to be a Knicks supporter and good for this show. That just let it go, because you can't even enjoy being a fan anymore. So it's common sense to me. I'm not calling you a fraud. I respect the fact you're trying to hang on to it, but wouldn't you at some point you ask yourself, why are you even hanging on now? Like, what's it even worth?
Because it's so. First of all, like for example, if you want to get lift it all the way up and be shown it. You know, my cousins Ben and Jeremy. The main thing that the three of us
they make ice cream, right?
That's no Ben and Jeremy.
Oh, I'm sorry.
You're talking about Ben and Jeremy.
I'm sorry.
Also from New England.
Okay.
Different part of New England.
Mm-hmm.
But my cousins and I, like, the main thing that gets us in our chat talking to the three of us is the Celtics. Like, there's just stuff that it's connected to that's hard to let go of.
But you don't have to let go of the past. And I'm not saying you shouldn't talk about the Celtics anymore. It could still be a common bond. I mean,
but you're saying I just acknowledge that really my number one team is the Knicks, not the Celtics.
Yeah,
Is that what you're saying?
I'm just saying that it's gotten to that point, so just own it. I mean, listen, I told you about my Devil situation. I mean, I still have fond memories of the time that existed. It's the Matogo still bothers me, like, you know, because that was in my past. But you just let it go. You move on from it, because what are you holding on to now? If you can't cheer for your team advancing to the finals when you're there live, then what are you even hanging on to?
It's a fair argument, Don. I'll take it all under advisement.
Yeah.
I will.
I don't think you will.
Like I told you, if the Knicks win tonight or Sunday, I will be faced with a really interesting couple of weeks after that. And we're going to have to play. I'm going to have a wife who's sitting there cheering for the Knicks. I'm going to have this lovable Knick bunch that's just so hard not to root for. I'm going to be going to games, surrounded by the city that I live in and that I love. I mean, one of the weird parts, the reason Natalie's literally embarrassed, I mean, Natalie's mortified, She wrote me yesterday because on the morning show, I was talking to Ebro and Laura, and I said something about like, well, as a Celtics fan, I'll say. And she texted me and she said, "Stop saying you're a Celtics fan on New York radio. It's embarrassing."
That's
how
wrong.
she feels.
And these are the.
She's starting to turn.
But you hear what I'm saying, Michael, right?
I hear everything you're saying.
So it's a tough spot to be in. I've been a fixture in New York people's lives morning and afternoon. There are people listening to our show right now who are 30 years old, and I've been a part of their life listening to me since they were 13 in middle school, and they're 30 now. They have children, and they've been listening to me as a part of their New York life. It is a little weird to have all these outside teams. It kind of feels like at times the only other team I should root for that's not a New York team is the Commanders.
See, but you have to relax, though.
Go ahead.
Chris Russo became an iconic talent in this town, going nuts for the San Francisco Giants. Nobody cared.
No, but
it is true.
But he didn't. But he didn't start going to Met games and hoping the Mets did well, and was torn in 2000 when the Mets and Giants played each other in the postseason. Michael, he owned his Giant fandom and rooted against the Mets and made fun of them when they lost and ripped into their fan base on New York air. So if he wants to do that, Michael, I'd respect
it.
Go
that way, right? I hear you.
Let's go to Ryan in Oceanside. Right.
How's it going, guys? Thanks for taking the call.
You got it.
Peter, I love you, Peter. But
I don't like the butt here. I don't like it.
I know. I know you don't like it. Elaine Bennis is a more true fan than you. She sat in the owner's box wearing the Baltimore Orioles hat.
I remember it.
You have two choices, Mike and Donna, right? You either show up in all orange and ditch the Celtics, or you wear your green proudly. It's one or the other.
Yeah, he said make a choice, Peter.
This is the problem.
Blank or get off the pot, as they say.
This is the problem with this world. Maybe I relate more to the people who call our show and go, I just root for everything New York. Maybe I'm more like those people than I realize. Maybe I'm just a proud fraud. Maybe that's who I am.
So you're a PF flyer. Proud fraud.
Fraud.
Yeah, PF flyer is easier.
That's it. It's a sneaker. You never heard of a PF flyer?
No.
Really?
No.
He's so young, Don.
What is that?
Nobody rapped about it.
It's a sneaker. When we were growing up, a PF flyer. No, I also a bike.
When did it stop being a thing?
I don't know, when they went out of business, I guess.
Like the 70s?
Maybe.
Got it.
Before he was born is what you're saying.
Well, no, but it never made it to even a song that I've heard. I never heard anyone reference it even.
So if it's not in a song, it didn't happen.
I'm not saying that, but was it a national shoe?
I didn't live
was
anywhere.
Was it a regional shoe?
I didn't live anywhere.
It might have been a regional shoe.
Look it up. You've got the Google.
PF flyer?
Yeah. Hey, it's Michael K. I love when I get to talk about my friends at PC.
With ButcherBox, you never have to worry about what's for dinner. We deliver grass-fed beef, organic, free-range chicken, humanely raised pork, wild-caught seafood, and so much more. Get high-quality meat sourced from trusted partners with free shipping always, so you can always be prepared and enjoy the important things. Sign up for ButcherBox today.
Before ClickUp, we were kind of a mess. We had so many different systems that we were using to communicate and share knowledge that you kind of had to code switch every time you were talking to somebody different.
We have distributed teams all across the world. There's a clear time difference there, and I think ClickUp really helps manage all that information regardless of time. We can communicate asynchronously, and so we are able to be very productive using ClickUp.
Beautiful ladies, loving it. Beautiful family, jealous. Bride is the best day of your life. There's that smile. That's a keeper. Let's get the lucky men in here, huh? Oh. All right, we got it. Groom's bed. Okay.
Some days are just too important for a trashy suit. Rent from theblacktux.com.
The next Mega Millions drawing is presented by Jackpocket. Jackpocket lets you order official state lottery tickets right on your phone. Just pick your numbers and place your ticket order. See a scan of your ticket right in the app. and get your winnings instantly. Go to jackpocket.com to get the app and get your first ticket free. Jackpocket, America's #1 lottery app.
Custom Ink helps us celebrate and drive our students' achievements with custom gear. They love Custom Ink's different styles and designs. We love how Custom Ink makes the process simple with their easy-to-use design lab, expert artists ready to help, and unbeatable customer service. Custom Ink allows our kids to show everyone their accomplishments and the pride they have in our school. When we place an order, I know they got our back, so we can focus on the kids.
Custom Ink has hundreds of products to help you feel connected. Upload your logo or start your design today at customink.com.
Switch to Square and join over 4 million businesses worldwide. Turn tables fast with Square Register at the counter or Square Terminal in your hand. Get a POS that connects to a KDS to handle orders ASAP. Easily take orders in person or online. And with Square Banking, get a loan quickly for everything from small repairs to the biggest dreams. Gain time and peace of mind with restaurant tools that bring everything together. Switch to Square today. Visit square.com to get started.
At Away, we know what real travel looks like. So when we make luggage, we think about how you actually get from place to place. How travel brings pit stops and welcome detours. How you deserve an easier, more flexible way to pack. Because when it comes to luggage, how you actually travel matters. Away, designed by travelers for travelers.
Talking to your doctor. Ask your specialist about Dupixent.
You could pick from hundreds of law firms for your mesothelioma or asbestos lung cancer case. But would you be confident that you made the best choice? Whites & Luxembourg is the firm that has represented more asbestos disease clients than any other firm in the metropolitan area. With 30 years' experience, they have New York's highest recorded asbestos verdicts of all time. The choice is clear, and the stakes could not be higher.
Whites & Luxembourg has our backs.
Call Whites & Luxembourg today.
Call 1-888-411-LAWS. That's 1-888-411-LAWS.
Is it possible to be more capable and more practical? Be able to perform here and here. Make a statement while barely making a sound. And command the road as well as what lies ahead. How we get there matters. Get exceptional offers at your local Audi dealer.
The best ideas come from solving common problems. My problem, like a lot of other men, I couldn't find a shirt that looked good untucked. So this became my passion, to design a shirt that captures the perfect balance between length and fit. Easy to say, not that easy to do. But with some innovative design changes, we did it. Our problem, my solution. Untuckit.com.
Still available. Aren't they cute?
You can get them by, I get them to you by the end of May, if you want.
How much are we talking about?
Ranges from about 70 to 100 bones.
Wow.
Good price.
Time for Domino's, brought to you by London Jewelers. Don touched on this yesterday, so I just want to give my take. I'm torn with the Met owner, Steve Cohen, because I think it's kind of endearing that he wants to engage with fans. So make fans think, you know what, they have a voice. No, they really don't. But it's nice to make them think they have a voice. So he was answering back somebody who does a Met blog, or I'm not quite sure. What was that guy, Don? Is doing a Met blog? Or?
It was a blog.
Okay.
I forget what it was exactly called. It had like 1,500 followers. And
right. So he answers the guy and says, you know, I'm paraphrasing. It's all going to happen
in due time.
In due time at the trade deadline, something like that. Which means that he's kind of showing his hand. We're going to break this team up, and we know it's not good. Then he deleted it. So, listen, I wish that I was half as smart as Steve Cohen. Because maybe then I'd have $10 billion and he has $20 billion. He's a pretty smart dude. So he thought taking it down means that it didn't happen. Screenshot. And then his explanation was he was meaning to DM him. Now,
that's what really said.
This is a really smart guy, right? I've gotten caught by this. Most of these miscreants that are getting you to like DM them that you don't want to make it a public thing. They'll put the DM and make it public. It's not that hard. What is Steve Cohen doing?
Well, Andy was lying. He knew it wasn't a DM, didn't he?
Then he's dumb on either way.
Right. Either way, he's dumb. But what Don was upset about was the blatant lying of it because, come on, he's 60-something years old. He's not 90. He knows what a DM is.
Right.
He knew.
Yeah,
that was just being ridiculous.
So if you want to own it, and again, I actually, Michael, I won't go as far as you did to say that he was agreeing with the blogger. I think what he was trying to say, or at least the way I took what he said, was that, hey, it's early. We may address that come the trade deadline. I mean,
Then why take it down?
Well, that's what I'm saying is that if you want to engage with the fans, then engage with them. Don't take it down and then claim you thought you were DMing them for two reasons. Number one, there is a distinct difference between tweeting at someone and DMing them. You might accidentally like something. That could be fat hands, right? That could happen on accident. But there's a completely different way of tweeting at somebody or DMing them. And also the ignorance of thinking because you DM them means that it would actually stay private.
Right.
So obviously you don't become a billionaire the way he did. He didn't inherit this money. He's a very smart person. But, Michael, you don't have to take a test to be an owner of a sports team. You just have to be rich. And like I explained yesterday, the reason that people like Steve Cohen is not because he's Joe fan. They like him because he's a billionaire, and they're hoping they're not going to be a small market team like they were under the Wilpons.
But I think they like the fact that he seems to engage.
I know, but I think fans have to realize that seeming to engage and engaging are two completely different things. That's one of the things I don't like about these owners. Do they really want to engage, or they want to make it seem like they're engaging?
They want to make it seem like they're engaging.
Listen, I love Woody Johnson, but he's sending out these videos of old like jet highlights. Is that really him, or does he want to make it seem like, hey, I'm a fan of, I'm just like you guys. I live and die with the team, and here's a touchdown from Joe Namath from the 70s. Like, come on, stop it. We know, we get it, and we're not asking you to be anything other than a good owner. You know what a good owner is, Michael? Good owner isn't one that fraternizes with the fans and walks around in the parking lot and high fives in the stands. You know what a good owner is? A good owner is lets the people that know the sport run it and don't get fat hands and spend money where it needs to be spent. That makes you a good owner, okay? So I don't know Steve Cohen from Adam. I don't know if he's a good guy, he's a bad guy. But I'm happy he's the owner of my team because it looks like he's going to be willing to spend some money and not treat it like the Mets are in Kansas City. But don't try to be something you're not, okay? Please.
Well, the Mets in 7 games against the teams ahead of them in the East, they won 2-5.
Right, and
it took extra innings for them to win yesterday, and a third blown save in a week for Edwin Diaz.
The problem.
Not the same.
That's the problem. I mean, I wasn't fully engaged because it was going on during the Ranger game, but I had it on the TV next to the Rangers, and I was happy they won the game. But you walk away like another blown save from Diaz, and that's an issue. Now it's becoming an issue.
Now, they start a 3-game set in Miami against the Marlins, so we'll see how they do. A lesser competition. Luzardo is pitching today for the Marlins. Also, Lindor is 2 for his last 24. That's 083. And on the season, he's hitting 194, 167 at Citi Field in 24 games.
And also, the blow it up crowd, what are you blowing up?
Yeah, who's taking Lindor's contract?
No, if you want to trade Pete Alonso, okay, I get it. You're probably not going to get what he's worth because he's a free agent at the end of the year and he's not playing well. Nobody's taking Lindor's contract. I mean, what can you get from McNeil right now, Michael? What?
You could trade McNeil for something. You could trade Harrison Bader. You probably could trade Marte. So that's what they're thinking.
But when you suggest blowing it up, it's like starting over and getting all these great prospects.
You could trade Severino.
Yeah, but you're not getting a lot for these guys.
But you know what? You try to get a prospect.
Well, and I think that's what you'll do when you get to the deadline. But you're not making these deals, Michael, in the middle of May. You're going to see it through, and then when you get to the deadline, then you start trading these pieces away. Who's going to be giving you a mint for Marte on May 16th? They might give you something if he's playing well, you get to the deadline.
I'm saying closer to the trade.
Yeah, of course.
Sure.
But the blow it up crowd, they want to do it right now. That makes no sense.
No, it doesn't make sense. Those are Diamond Notes brought to you by London Jewelers. Visit London Jewelers today at any of their 7 locations, including the Americana Mall and the mall at Short Hills. We'll talk more, obviously, about the Knicks' upcoming game tonight and the Rangers' big game last night. The Rangers are in the Eastern Conference Finals against either Boston or Florida, pending who wins tonight or if there is a Game 7. So stay tuned for that. Stay tuned for more of the show. And now stay tuned for Don to talk about water.
Leo. Jake from State Farm. You did it, buddy. Well, you suggested bundling home and auto, you bundling bundler. Who wanted that affordable price?
Bundle and save with the personal price plan. Like a good neighbor, State Farm is there.
The next Powerball drawing is presented by Jack Pocket. Jack Pocket lets you order official state lottery tickets right on your phone. Just pick your numbers and place your ticket order. See a scan of your ticket right in the app. And get your winnings instantly. Go to jackpocket.com to get the app and get your first ticket free. Jackpocket, America's #1 lottery app.
Put it on the rest. Put it on the rest. Put it on the rest.
Never read a line of poetry, I'm not a poet, but I sit up in the back of my buttons cause I'm fresh. Never read a book on how to rip it, I just saw it, I don't need your explanation cause I'm better than the rest. Better than the rest. Better than the rest. Let me take you for a ride. I can make you feel alive.
50. Right now, you can go online and buy a hand-drawn portrait for $50 titled Andy Pettit, The Stare. 1. Growing up, you used to play a game called Porkball using 1 penny and a bat.
First of all, how do you know all this?
Yeah.
Yeah.
The YouTube video of you snagging a fan's popcorn has 1,169,839 views.
Took him a ball the next inning. I said, thanks for the popcorn, signed it.
What? Don't do that. This reminds me of my bike. The wolf was about the size of my new motorcycle. Have you seen it, by the way?
Happy birthday, Grandma!
Really? Look how the brushstrokes follow the line of the gas tank. Hey! Brought my +1. Jamie.
For years, one company has battled to deliver business products the next day with no freight charges. Now, WB Mason, with their famous fleet of trucks and drivers, faces their biggest challenge, rescuing shipping and packaging buyers from expensive freight charges. That's right. Now, boxes, stretch film, and packaging tape are delivered the very next day at amazingly low prices. So, who do you call for fast delivery and no expensive freight charges? Who but WB Mason?
With the Game Time app, I paid 60% less than this guy.
What?
And it's not just sports tickets. It's also concerts. Performances, too!
Oh, come on!
Download Game Time. Last-minute tickets, lowest price, guaranteed.
Step into the world of Golden Nugget Online Casino. With all the slots and table games you love, feel like you're on the casino floor no matter where you are. Score rewards by playing your favorite games and get your winnings almost instantly with lightning-fast withdrawals.
Go!
So what are you waiting for? Have a great time in your downtime. Download the Golden Nugget Online Casino app and get started today with this great offer.
Summer is around the corner. Put your plans in motion with great deals at the Ford Memorial Day sales event. Go places near and far, on-road and off-road. Bring your friends and all your toys. You've got the plans. We've got the deals. The Ford Memorial Day sales event. Get a head start on summer. Now, returning lessees can lease an F-150 for $399 a month for 36 months. Only at your local Ford stores.
Big season. More reasons to say yes.
Wow.
Yes to the ultimate viewing experience.
Aaron Judge crushes one. What a win for the Yankees.
The Yes app. Download now.
I mean, can we celebrate? Can we feel good about things? I mean, there's so many bad things that go on in the world. I mean, you get bad news all the time. 24-hour bad news cycle.
I hate bad news.
And we should be celebrating. The New York Rangers have won the first 2 rounds of the NHL playoffs. They are 4 wins away from going to the Stanley Cup Finals. We don't know who they're going to play yet, but we know that the first game is going to be Wednesday at 8 o'clock on ESPN, and you can hear it right here on 98.7.
Oh, yeah.
So they are 4 wins away for playing for the Stanley Cup. It's not going to be 4 easy wins. It's going to be either against Florida or Boston. They play tonight. Florida leads 3-2. Game 6 is tonight. Marchand is still a game-time decision, so that will play a big role on how this game goes. And we should be just feeling great. The Rangers down 3-1 yesterday in Carolina against a really good team. And then Chris Kreider, 33 years old, a Ranger forever. He has a natural hat trick. We should all be thrilled. And I think people are. I mean, how could you not be? If it goes to a Game 7, people are holding their breath. But this is a glorious time to be a Ranger fan. You know what? They were very honest with you when they sent out the letter. There's going to be some lean years. They kind of reset, and they kind of reset twice because they changed the front office. But Don, it has worked out in every which way.
I mean, you take a look at the Rangers. They don't have a championship since '94, and it's been 30 years, and that's been well documented. But they went to the conference final in 2012, Stanley Cup final in 14, won the President's Trophy conference final in 15, went to the conference final in 22, and going to the conference final in 24. I mean, it's really been over the last 12 years, Michael, they've been a pretty consistent elite team. Now, in the middle of that, they did have their hiccup, and they sent a letter to their season ticket holders saying, hey, we're going to try to rebuild here. And, yeah, there's been a regime change since then with Chris Drury replacing Gorton and J.D., and they've gone through some coaches here with Quinn and then Gallant, and now settling on Peter Laviolette, which I think ended up being the perfect hire. But they've kept a lot of the core the same. They haven't made that drastic trade, and they believed and felt that maybe the right formula with these players will make it work. And again, they haven't won the cup, but they've been a fairly consistent team. And since the letter, Michael, they have really, I think, responded tremendously to make you feel like that this team can win a Stanley Cup. And I won't go as far as to say what you say about the Knicks, that this will be the worst team over the next 3-4 years, like you said with the Knicks. But I don't think they're near done. I mean, they're still a relatively young team. They've got some decisions to make on a couple of players, but, they're locked in with Kreider and Zibanejad and Panarin, and, Shesterkin's got another year, left on his contract. And Peter Laviolette, this is the first year of a 3-year contract. So I don't want to talk about the future because the present is so bright. But this isn't a team that's on the verge of it all falling apart and long in the tooth. This is a team that I think is going to be good for a little while here.
Well, it's going to be interesting. We just await who they're going to play. And tonight, we have the Knicks against the Pacers. The Knicks are up 3-2, coming off a 30-point win when the series was tied. The Pacers have won 10 in a row, by the way, in Indianapolis. So this has been a series where you've held home court. And if that continues tonight, well, then the Knicks have to hold home court at 3:30 on Sunday at Madison Square Garden, and they move on to the Eastern Conference Finals against the Boston Celtics. So I have a question to ask, and I don't know if Don or Peter can answer this. So yesterday, the Rangers are playing on the road, and 7,000 people are in the Garden. And they threw hats on the ice when Kreider got the third goal. And why do that? Why go to an empty arena? I am not casting aspersions at all. I just want to know. You could be at home. You could be at a bar with like-minded people and actually interact a little bit. Why there? Is it because that's where the Rangers play? And I'm just asking Peter and Don because maybe they can surmise, but it's just odd to me. And, people make a big, 7,000 people showed up. Well, in other places, 20,000 people show up. So in New York, there's so many other things to do. I just wonder what's the allure. And again, not knocking it. I just like to know if any of the 7,000 people that were there yesterday, call in and tell me what does it mean? Because I think there's going to be people at Madison Square Garden tonight for the Knick game.
Well, and I think the reason why it's a low total compared to some places, they're still going to bang it $50 to park, and it's still not the most convenient place to go. They charged $10 a ticket and all went to the Garden of Dreams, so that's cool. I'm not this way. You know how I feel in big games, Mike. I like to be by myself. But, Andrew Gunling used to say he liked to go watch his favorite team with other like-minded fans, whether it be at a bar or at a party. So what better place to go than your home arena with 7,000 other people cheering on the team on the biggest television screen you could ever watch it on, a jumbotron in the arena. So I get it.
Yeah, me too. I would totally, in the right situation, I would totally do that. You get to have the live game experience,
right?
But you're just not at the game. You're watching the game still, but you get to have that camaraderie with fans. I dig it. I wouldn't do it. I wouldn't do it for every game, I don't think. Depends on my age, though, I guess.
It must be cool because it's like-minded people. You go to a bar, you're not sure if everybody... I think everybody that's going to the Garden tonight is a Knicks fan.
Right.
Everybody there yesterday was a Ranger fan.
Right, you're not going for the other team.
Yeah, the Carolina Hurricane fan is not going to the Garden.
Now, and listen, they score a goal last night. They play the Ranger song, right? Like everyone gets to sing along. So there's a lot there. I would say the downside is not going to see an actual game and still paying the arena prices for booze. Probably not ideal for me.
I don't know what the situation was there as far as what was open.
I'm sure they weren't discounted.
But it was $10 to get in. But then I'm sure that the concessions cost what the concessions cost. So it's a commitment. I'll give you a little baseball news. This guy's exciting, and I know that baseball's excited because of the connection with Livy Dunn as well, who has so many social media followers. They're like looking at her as baseball's Taylor Swift. Not quite, but Livy Dunn is pretty popular. Paul Skeens pitched the second game today. This is his first game on the road. All right, he struck out the first 7 Chicago Cubs he faced.
All right.
He retired the first 13 batters he faced before walking Michael Busch, the first baseman, in the 5th inning. Busch was the only base runner to reach off of Skeens, who pitched 6 innings without giving up a hit on 100 pitches. He struck out 7 overall. He's pretty special, but I worry about a guy like that who throws that hard. How long can he hold up? But as long as he holds up, he's going to be really exciting. And every start he makes for the Pirates is going to be an event.
Who's the girl again?
Livy Dunn.
What's Livy?
She's a gymnast from LSU. They met at LSU.
The famous gymnast from LSU. Sure.
Yeah, she's a gymnast from LSU.
I remember her. The gymnast from LSU.
I don't know who it is. Does that make me?
You don't know Livy Dunn?
No.
She's a lovely young woman.
Doesn't sound like Peter completely knows either.
No, I know now.
Okay.
I do remember her now. She pops. She's very famous. Because
very famous.
It was part of the whole LSU when
Okay.
When Angel Reese was getting popular. She was popular. Like they were both.
She makes
stars.
unbelievable money as an influencer.
Yeah, she's very popular young woman.
But unfortunately, a lot of strikeouts means a lot of pitches.
Yep. So. And they're not going to push this guy because he's their future. So 100 pitches, he's going to be out. So he pitched a no-hitter, but he didn't pitch a no-hitter. Major international soccer coming to New York this summer. FC Series and Soccer Champions Tour presents Manchester City and AC Milan at Yankee Stadium on July 27th. Enter for your chance to score tickets at ESPNNewYork.com or on the ESPN New York app. Scroll down to contest and submit your entry. 2 grand prize winners will also receive a Man City or AC Milan jersey. Watch some of the best teams in the world. Don't miss out. Get your tickets now at FCSeries.com. Now, before we get to your phone calls, I do want to give you a pinstripe report brought to you by Samuel Institute for Pain Management. So my good buddy Jack Curry has a podcast on the Yes Network, and yesterday he got the owner of the Yankees, Hal Steinbrenner, to be his guest, which was a great get for Jack. And Jack asked him about the Juan Soto situation, and here's what Hal said about the Yankee right fielder.
Well, I think we'd like to see him here for the rest of his career. I don't think there's any doubt of that. His agent, Scott, doesn't tend to normally do deals in the middle of a season. Neither do I. I think he could be a distraction. But, I mean, this is a unique situation and a very unique player. So, I mean, I wouldn't be shocked if there was a conversation or two had possibly during the course of the season. I think it's worth doing at some point. I wanted to give Juan time to really settle in and make sure, have a conversation with him at some point and make sure that, obviously, the most important thing is this a place he can see himself for a long time?
All right, so we spoke about this about the 3rd or 4th inning yesterday. And then after the game, the writers, heard this. And they went down and asked Juan Soto about talking about a contract extension. And here's what Soto said.
My doors has been always open, you know. Whenever he want to start talking with Scott and all those people, they're always open. They always open to hear whatever he has. And for me, I just focus on the game right now.
And finally, he goes, how's it feel to hear the Yankees want you?
It's really nice to see owners and GMs talking about they want me in their teams for a whole life. But at the end of the day, I'm focusing on this year and what we want to do in this year and how much games we want to win and how far we want to go.
All right, and one final piece to this puzzle. Jack ended up getting a hold of Scott Boras, who said, I'd take a phone call from Hal any day, but right now Juan is just consumed with winning. Which is, what Scott would say. He's never going to tip his hand. Right. I think it's a smart play by Hal to show the fans, listen, we will break from tradition. We will discuss a contract in the middle of the season. That's how important this guy is. But let's all be realistic. And I think Hal knows this, too, because Hal's really smart. This guy has waited a long time to be a free agent. He's 4.5 months away from having all 30 teams bid on him. You really think he's going to sign a contract?
Yeah, come on.
So even if he says to Scott, I love the Yankees. This is where I want to be. And I think he's having a good time. I think he enjoys the atmosphere. I think he enjoys the fan interaction in right field. He loves it. You could see it.
Yeah.
Comes to work happy every day.
He's playing great.
He's playing great.
Obviously mentally
and he's playing
on
a team that has 30 wins on May 17th. All signs point to good.
He's not at all dwarfed by other big stars on the team.
Not at all.
So it's
not at all. So he could just tell Scott, I want to be with the Yankees. And Scott would go, great. Let's go to free agency, though. Let's let owner X drive up the price. I'll make sure you end up with the Yankees, but It's dumb to sign now. I don't think there's any way they come to an agreement now. There's no way. I just don't. I think it's smart for Hal to say, I'm open, I'm going to talk to Scott, but Scott's going to say, let's wait.
I mean, I'm so glad you played that sound because when you read the headlines and you hear how the media has portrayed that news, Juan Soto open to talking, that's not what I took from any of that. I heard Hal Steinbrenner say he might be willing to break from tradition and speak during the season. He may. And why wouldn't he? Juan Soto, as you said, but what he means. And taking a phone call from Hal Steinbrenner from Boras is not an admission that he's willing to negotiate. I think they took it way too far. I mean, everybody's going to say the right things here, Michael. You do not hire Scott Boras unless you're trying to get top dollar. Now, if the Yankees were to offer him $70 million a year, then maybe they would avoid free agency. But that's not going to happen. There is no way, Michael, this guy is going to not go to free agency. And that doesn't mean he doesn't want to stay here. I'm sure he does want to stay here. But again, you don't hire Scott Boras unless you want to get top dollar. And the only way you can get top dollar is if you go to free agency. So I felt that whole story was a nothing burger. It's two sides that want to try to get something done, but any idea that he is going to sign tomorrow an extension with the Yankees is lunacy.
But I think that Hal kind of put the ball in Juan and Scott's court. Because, it's always been a Yankee thing. We don't negotiate during the season. And the times that they had, it hasn't worked out that great with extensions. But they don't do that. So he's saying, this guy's special. This guy we will do it with. So now the fans can say, well, you didn't tell him. Well, he's come out and said, we want this guy. We want him to retire a Yankee. This is what we want. So now a lot of the onus is off of Hal. He's going to have to come up with the money at the end of the season. I get that. But he has at least made it known, we love this guy. We want him to stay here a long time. Now, Scott and Juan are going to say, well, all we care about is winning right now. We'll wait till the end of the season. Perfectly understandable. It would almost be hard to understand if they do give up their negotiating leverage and sign now. You said, well, the Yankees offer him $70 million a year. They still might not.
Right.
Because that means somebody might offer him $75.
The only news that I would listen to think that there is the possibility of something getting done before free agency, that I would really pay attention to, if Soto fired Scott Boras. Then I would say, you know what, he obviously wants to get something done here. Because you're throwing money away, right? I mean, why? Because then he could probably negotiate it himself. I mean, the guy's an amazing player. Now, nobody's going to go that far, but you hire Scott Boras. Why, Michael? There's other agents that can get him the money that he deserves. You hire Scott Boras because you know that this guy's going to get you the most in most cases, especially when you're as good as Juan Soto is. So
yeah, now, one thing that's always been used against Soto, and I think it's a little unfair, he turned down $440 million from the Nationals. How could he do that? Well, I mean, if you really, I did a deep dive into the offer. It was like $440 million over 15 years. So it averaged out to $29 million a year. You can't get Juan Soto for $29 million a year. And another thing that people in the business have come up and said, well, there's no way the Yankees are going to pay him more than $40 million. They can't pay anybody more than Judge. And then I said, well, then it's game over.
Yeah, that's over.
Because the market has changed. Somebody is going to get more than Judge. Somebody is going to get more than Garrett Cole. You can't say these are the top dollars anymore. Those contracts were signed in the past.
That's right.
The market has moved. And if you're going to put a cap on an offer to a position player, $40 million a year, game over. You're not getting him. You're not getting Juan Soto for $40 million a year.
But part of the reason he's going to get the money he's going to get is how young he is. I mean, not the Judge would be demanding this, but anybody that thinks that it'd be wrong to pay him more than Judge doesn't have a kick coming. When you consider the age, if Juan Soto was going to be 31 years old, Michael, then maybe you have a leg to stand on there. But they're not comparable players. One's significantly younger than the other. That's what you'd be paying for.
And we don't really know players the way we think we do, but having spent a lot of time around Judge, I don't think he would care if somebody made more money. He got his bag.
Oh, he would understand it.
Of course, because that's the nature of the business.
Now, listen, just throwing it out there because I guess it's relatable because we're here in New York, that if all of a sudden the Yankees signed Pete Alonso for more money than Aaron Judge, I think he'd have the right to be sore because he's better than Pete Alonso. But now you're talking about a comparable player that's, 5-6 years younger? I mean, come on. It makes perfect sense for him to be able to make more money. Now, and the other thing about loving the Yankees, and Michael, honestly, these players all talk. You know what you're getting into when you become a Yankee. You know you're going to be treated very well. You know how passionate this fan base is. If you go out there and you're going to play, they're going to love you. So I don't think he came to the Yankees and is shocked how great it is to be a Yankee. He knows that. I don't think they can win him over.
But I think they're not going to win him over where he's going to provide a discount. That I would agree with. Yeah. But I think you do have an advantage because you have a leg up of a year of showing him what it's all about. And the love affair between the fans and Soto, that's got to mean something. The Latin community here in New York has to mean something, but it's going to come down to money. It is going to come down to money. But I think at this point, 40 games in, whatever, he has a warm feeling about this place. But if the Dodgers come in and offer him $100 million a year, that's going to win the day. I'm sorry, that's going to win the day. And I think it's smart for Hal, because let's say Hal comes in and go, we'll give you $50 million a year. And that's what it might take, by the way. Then Scott could go to Juan. They might take that. They'd be the highest paid player in baseball, because don't tell me about Ohtani at 70. Ohtani's 70 is only worth 46 a year because it's deferred. But if you give him $50 million a year right now, $50 million, it's $50 million. So maybe he would say, okay, I don't need any more than that. But Scott is looking at this as the seminal case, the way he looked at Alex Rodriguez.
And I know that Scott has this was a tough offseason for him, considering the players that didn't sign.
This won't be tough.
This is a slam dunk, Michael. No offense to the Bellingers and the Snells, this is a different type of player. I mean, this is not going to be hard to get done.
Yeah, see, and I said this all winter too. Every one of his players that he had this winter was flawed. Everyone, every single one. There's no flaws of Juan Soto.
There's no flaw.
There's none. Now, you can say, well, what's the flaw with a two-time Cy Young Award winner? The years that he didn't win the Cy Young. Then he doesn't pitch a lot of innings. There's the flaw.
And he's in a perfect spot, Boris, because his client doesn't have any flaws and is on a team that can be the highest bidder. So it's perfect storm. So it's not like he's stuck in San Diego and they're trying to get out of all the bad contract and they just don't have the money to pay him. So this is a really good spot. Juan Soto is not going to be holding out to start next season. Pete Alonso might, because he's flawed.
I hope not, for Pete's sake.
And the team that he's on doesn't seem too hot to keep him.
And the Yankees seem hot to keep Soto.
Yeah.
That's the Pinstripe Report, brought to you by Samwell Institute for Pain Management. For a pain-free life, visit SamwellPain.com today. Let's go back to the phones. Let's go to Joseph in Queens. Joseph.
Hey, how are you guys?
What's up?
Okay, so first I just want to touch on the Rangers quickly. That game was absolutely crazy. From the first and second period, and the button that they flipped to just switch to the third, and literally probably the best period they played all playoffs, and maybe even the whole season. That it was insane. The second thing is I wanted to ask you guys about what you think about the who's on the Mount Rushmore of New York City athletes, but I don't want, like, meaning, so one of my friends was like, oh, maybe Rogers or Soto. I said, Soto, he just got here. Rogers played 4 plays and didn't do anything.
Right.
I'm talking about, let's say, the people who've been in New York and have accomplished in New York. And I have a list if you need help.
So just active players.
Yeah, active players who've accomplished in New York, and who would be your 4?
Okay. So who do you got?
All right, so for the Knicks, it's Brunson and Randall, the only 2 people.
Well, Brunson's only been here 2 years. I mean, that kind of defeats what you just said.
I hear, but he's been incredible. Meaning, I hear.
Okay, Soto's been here 2 months. He's been incredible.
Yeah.
It's a little different.
No, but, all right, okay, and we all know exactly what Randall's
done. It's your rules, but go ahead.
The Nets have nobody, obviously. The Jets have nobody, really. The Giants have nobody. The only team that has the most is, I would say, the Yankees. The Yankees have Judge, Cole, DJ LeMahieu, and Stanton, but I would probably knock those 2 off.
Mm-hmm.
The Mets have Lindor, McNeil, and Alonso. The Rangers have the most. They have Kreider, who had obviously last night and his whole career here. They have Panarin. They have Fox. They have Igor. They have Mika. And the Islanders, maybe Nelson or Sorokin.
Well, I mean, Joseph, you've just run out of rock. I mean, Mount Rushmore has 4 heads.
Yeah, how many Rushmores?
Honestly, if you're going to come up with 4, all right, Judge, obviously.
And Cole.
Obviously. I wouldn't be so quick to rule out Alonso. I mean, he did break the rookie record for home runs. He's been really good here, Michael, for a few years. All right, he hasn't won a championship, but you know, who has? Did go to the playoff. I'm not saying I'd put him there, Michael, but I wouldn't completely rule him out. I wouldn't put Lindor or any other one. I wouldn't put any Islanders on there. God, it's. I don't even. Can you put Brunson, Michael? Because, you know, I don't want to make it into existence, but if they lose the next 2 games, what exactly are we talking about here? It's been a fun little run here of a couple of rounds with incredible play, but does 2 years put you on a Mount Rushmore? Is that all it takes?
It's tough. It's tough.
I mean, you know, Chris Kreider has every Ranger record basically offensively.
Like, if George Washington only had 2 years of his term, I don't know if he makes Mount Rushmore.
It's a great point. The original Mount Rushmore.
Yeah.
Did he deserve? Well, no, he was getting it because he was first.
But if he only lasted 2 years.
Yeah, and then let's say someone else comes in for John Adams comes in for 2 years, and then
really
gets another 4 years.
Right.
No one even remembers George Washington.
God, it's really tough because, like, what's the criteria? Because I get, you know, I haven't been here that long, but I mean, you can't say that Brunson hasn't had an impact. But, God, we're still talking about a team that's in the second round and hasn't gotten out of the second round yet. You know, they were in the second round last year, too. I mean, so there still has to be a little bit that could be accomplished here. But that's a tough question.
Hey, I talk for a living, and whether I'm in the studio or at the ballpark.
We all want to feel safe when traveling. That's why if you see something that feels suspicious, such as an abandoned bag or erratic behavior from a passenger, just call 911. You can call anonymously, and it's okay if it turns out to be nothing. Work together with the Port Authority of New York and New Jersey to keep our transportation facilities safe. Visit PANYNJ.gov to learn more.
The best ideas come from solving common problems. My problem? like a lot of other men, I couldn't find a shirt that looked good untucked. So this became my passion, to design a shirt that captures the perfect balance between length and fit. Easy to say, not that easy to do. But with some innovative design changes, we did it. Our problem, my solution. Untuckit.com.
My brother Joe and I lived right across the state line from each other. We worked our whole lives here. So when he got mesothelioma from working in the yards, we knew who could help. Whites and Luxembourg. Their results and experience are hard to match. Now, Joe's wife and kids are taken care of. I'll never regret making that call as soon as I did.
Call Whites and Luxembourg today at 855-VERDICT. That's 855-VERDICT.
We choose to go to the moon.
Oh, it's beautiful. It really is.
Big season. More reasons to say yes. Wow. Yes to the ultimate viewing experience.
Aaron Judge crushes one.
Yes to in-game live stats. And earn rewards and win prizes. Get all the Yankees action on the Yes app. Download now.
My dad, he's a double amputee, and he's one of my favorite people in the world. To me, a hero is someone who fights for our country and freedom. My dad is a hero. Homes for Our Troops built this house, and it's basically made for him. My dad can get through the wide doorways. When he is making our lunch, he can reach anything we need. He'll help me build tiny projects. Life is good here. Without Homes for Our Troops, we'd be living in a home that didn't have all these features that helped him.
Homes for Our Troops builds and donates specially adapted custom homes nationwide for severely injured post-9/11 veterans and enables them to rebuild their lives.
If they get a new house like this one, it'll help them do normal life. My dad's not just a hero, he's my hero.
Join our mission at hfotusa.org.
Been there, done that, messed around. I'm having fun. Don't put me down. I'll never let you.
With Allegra, allergies won't hold me back. Allegra starts working 2 times faster than Claritin, and unlike Zyrtec, won't make me drowsy. Nothing beats Allegra. It's the fastest non-drowsy 24-hour allergy relief.
Hi, Mel. Is now good for a quick catch-up on your plan?
Yes, now's great. Finance now or refinance later. Here are 10 tips to make your home.
Needless to say, your money could be working so much harder.
Yes, I'm thinking more long-term.
Interest rates will remain at current levels.
Great. We'll make that change to your plan and adjust as needed.
This helps a lot.
Bye, Mel.
Bye.
When I hit 80, I needed help around the home. A friend of mine told me to call Freedom Care, and they'll pay my granddaughter to take care of me.
Funded by Medicaid, Freedom Care allows people to choose who provides their care, and the caregiver gets paid instantly after their shift.
Life is sweeter with her around.
Nana gave me so much joy as a child. Now it's my turn to return the love.
Call now to find out benefits and pay, and how fast you can get started.
This month on Hard Rock Bet is your chance to climb to the top of the charts. The legendary leaderboards are here, paying out $1 million in cash and bonus money. Leaderboards of all sizes, with daily, weekend, and month-long prizes. This is your shot to be a one-hit wonder, the real deal, or even the ultimate $200,000 chart topper. Download Hard Rock Bet or just log in and let your iconic rise begin.
At City Harvest, we believe no New Yorker has to go hungry. With your help, we're on the road 365 days a year, rescuing over 77 million pounds of nutritious food and delivering it free to millions of New Yorkers, transforming surplus food into sustenance, sustainability, and smiles, rallying thousands of New Yorkers to power a network of nourishment across our city. One day, one meal, and one New Yorker at a time. That's how we feed good. Donate at cityharvest.org.
What a show it's been.
Are you kidding me? I mean, think about it. The Rangers advanced last night in dramatic fashion.
Yeah, now they're in the semis.
4 unanswered to you and me.
Yeah.
And now you have the Knicks attempting to do the same thing on the road tonight.
Mm-hmm.
It's a euphoric time.
It is. It's a great time to be alive.
New York deserves it. It's been a long time. It's been a nasty period. And everyone has to deal with those hideous Giants jerseys.
No, Don's really dealing the most.
The Jets season last year was one of the worst things we've ever seen.
Mm-hmm.
The Mets have chocolate soft serve in your pants.
Yankees are doing great.
Yankees are great, but I mean, it's early. We all know that can end bad.
30 wins, baby. More wins than any team in the American League.
I get it, but it's the Yankees.
Fanboy, it's a fact.
Yeah, but
I know, but
it's not considered a good Yankee season unless they do something.
You're just so
they can
giddy.
win. They can be great in May no matter what. That doesn't mean anything.
Okay, don't enjoy it. No, don't enjoy it.
So this is a glorious time. Glorious time at Madison Square Garden.
But what's cool about this is that, let's say you had the Mets and the Yankees both doing well. Well, it's not a shared experience.
Right.
Rangers, Islanders, not a shared experience. Jets, Giants, not a shared experience. This is a shared experience. Probably like no other because they share the same building. Like if it was Mets, Islanders, if it was Nets, Devils, it hits completely different. This is perfect. Maybe if you had like when you had, the only one I can compare besides 94, Michael, was 86 when you had Mets, Giants. But it wasn't exactly at the same time, but it happened in the same year when you had the 69-70 where you kind of had Jets and Knicks. But I guess the only one would be if you had Yankees and Giants win in the same calendar year. It might hit a little bit the same, but this one's just a perfect storm. They're playing at the same time. We're going to get back to every other day again, guys. We're going to get a nice little break here, especially if the Knicks wrap it up tonight. And then by next week, it's going to be like every other day again. And big games. We're talking third round now. This is big. You could explain away anything in first round, second round, but now that you've won 2 rounds and you're playing in the conference final, there's only 3 other teams playing in your sport. Now it's on. Now it's happening.
Let's go to Calvin in Washington Heights. Calvin.
Hey, how you doing, guys? Good afternoon.
Good, how are
A
you?
long time I haven't spoken to you guys.
What's up?
Hey, I would just you had a topic about Juan Soto, and I know that I'm a fan of Juan Soto, but I love the way he plays. To me, he's the left-handed version of a Miguel Cabrera and Albert Pujols. And I wanted to say, you got Ohtani that is already locked in. He cashed in Acuna and Mookie Betts. Acuna, obviously, Atlanta took advantage. Now, I'm not going to use the word took advantage. Let's better wording. In his early age of his contract, they locked him up and they got a great deal. And Mookie Betts. So Juan Soto is in those top 4 players in baseball. He has to cash out and get booked and get his money because he can't. It's just for respect for himself. And when you look at the other elites, you're like, hold up, I'm a generational talent. You know how good you are. So, I want him to stay in New York. I'm not a Yankees fan, but I want him to stay because he's local. You can go see him. You can go check out. And his family is actually, believe it or not, I don't know if you guys know about this, but many of his family members actually live in New York. His father attends almost every single Yankee game, and he loves the town. But I want him to get paid. I want him to break the bank because sometimes Yankee fans have a difficult time accepting that he is a better player than Judge. And, I know this is Judge's team, but he's a better talent, and he's a great team player. And there are people concerned about his defense. He's not playing left field in Petco Park. You're playing right field in Yankee Stadium.
I will tell you this. You don't have to worry. He's going to get paid. He's going to get a record amount of money. And I'm not quite set to say he's a better player than Judge. Because, okay, Judge is a 300 hitter who hits 40, 50, 60 home runs, and to me is a Gold Glove level outfielder and right. So Soto is great at everything. The only thing that Soto's better at Judge at, he was born later.
That's a big deal, though.
I know it's a big deal, but in terms of their talent level, you can't just come out and say he's a better player than Judge. He's 25, Judge is 32. I get that. But Judge, in his best year, is just as good as Soto in his best year. And Judge, for the last, 3 weeks, has been better than Soto. I think the attractiveness between the two of them is that they're both so generational, and they're in the same lineup, and a pitcher has to navigate that. But just don't easily say, well, he's better than Judge. He's 7 years younger than Judge, but not necessarily better. They're different. And Judge is a better defender. So where exactly is he that much better, Don?
Just at the age. And maybe there's some analytics that you could dive into because, again, the numbers don't pop the way they do for Judge. He's not hitting 50 home runs.
Right, he's not a home run hitter.
But you look at the fact that he's younger, and I think Judge is a better defender. Let's not forget that, too. But when you're talking about better player, that what he's accomplished a lot at a very, very young age, and let's face it, 5 years from now, what's Aaron Judge going to be? Even if you're very optimistic, he is going to be a very good player, but he's not going to be what he is now. You wouldn't think. But Juan Soto 5 years from now might be better.
He'll be 31. Let's go to Paul in Trenton. This should be fun.
Yeah. Hi, Mike.
Hello. Are you upset about anything with the Yankees lately?
No, they're playing great. They're playing
there you go.
Good baseball.
Look
which
at you.
I like.
Look at you, Paul. I'm glad you're happy.
I only got a couple things. Number one, remember last year when you had mentioned at the end when Stanton wasn't running, and I called and I said to you, I don't care if he walks to first base as long as he's in that lineup. Well, you know what? I'm sticking to my guns because he's big. That's number one. With this Sosa thing, I don't think there's going to be 30 teams that are going to go after him because half of them don't even have the money.
You mean
so,
Soto?
Soto.
You mean Soto?
I don't think Sosa at this point. Yeah.
So you know what? Okay. Whatever happens at the end happens. If they keep him, they keep him. If not, well, that's it. But the last thing I have to tell you, and you were getting a little nervous about being a target from people. One thing, your coworkers, they find something good in a call, no matter what, where you're not like that. If you disagree with a caller or disagree with what they say, well, you don't like it, and that's it. That's probably why you get more kickback than they do.
You know what?
You know what, Paul? Very astute. That could actually be.
Outstanding point. As Michael would say, very salient point.
Now, I was going to say, I think I speak for all of us when I say thank you for the call.
When Paul brings up 30 people aren't bidding, of course, because some teams just can't play in that rarefied air. But I'll tell you who will be bidding: the Yankees, the Mets, maybe the Dodgers, the San Francisco Giants, Cubs, Texas Rangers. There's enough big maybe the Seattle Mariners. There are teams that can afford it. Now, whether or not they want to go there, different story. But there are teams that can play in that arena.
And the scary thing is the team across town is going to be that guy at the auction that's always just firing his hand up.
He does that with Art.
Yeah, so the Yankees are going to make an offer, and you just have to hope at some point Soto's like, listen, I just want to be a Yankee. But he's going to I based on how the Mets have conducted themselves this year, with the way that they've handled the money and not going after certain free agents and all that, tells me they're all in on Soto. I have a feeling we're going to find out how much he likes being a Yankee, because I believe in my heart that he's gonna walk away from more money from the Mets. Because I think Cohen's going to just give whatever the Yankees offer, he'll give a little bit more. So
and
can
you
that
think
happen?
He'll walk away from that?
What's that?
Or you think he'll walk to that, or walk away and stay with the Yankees?
No, listen, we'll find out how much he really wants to be a Yankee. Now, listen, having Scott Boras there to keep driving the price up is still worth it. I mean, so we keep saying top dollar. He's going to go for a big-time contract, and maybe he'll end up using the Mets at the end of the day. But don't you feel like it might be a situation like with San Francisco with Judge, that, hey, he could have gotten a little bit more money with the Mets, but he just wanted to stay with the Yankees? Because
but I've never seen that with a Boras client. You know what I mean?
Well, then it's really scary, Michael, because do you think the Mets are going to be outbid by the Yankees?
I'd be hard pressed to think that Steve Cohen would be outbid if he. I mean, that's the way he is with Art. He overpays for it if he wants it. He's going to get it. But that's where Soto has to step in. Like if it's a difference of $1 million a year, Soto could say, you know what, that doesn't matter to me. I want to stay here. I'm comfortable. And also, the Yankees look like they're going to have a really good season. The Mets look like they're going to have a bad season. Do you think you're going to be the last piece? There's a lot of pieces that have to be fit for the Mets.
No, I know, but the Mets are also in a situation that they're not going to sit there and not spend because they spend so much money on Soto. I mean, I think that, Cohen is going to start flexing his financial muscle at some point, and this seems to be the big piece, the big draw that he's going to get. Because I think this season's going to go sideways on the Mets, and if it does, then he's going to want to. That's going to be 2 bad seasons in a row, and he's going to want to try to win back the fan base. And at the end of the day, it's a lot of money, but the fans aren't going to care about it because they're going to want to make sure that they have Juan Soto, and they finally have an owner, unlike the Wilpons, when they did spend money, say, well, we can't spend any more because we all spent it on one place. He'll spend it you would think he's going to spend it on other places as well. So how much is he going to walk away from, Michael?
We'll see. It's going to be a fascinating November. Brian in Milburn. Brian?
Hey, how you doing, Michael K?
What's up?
This guy, Peter. I forgot. I'm sorry. Listen, the guy just called you a few minutes ago and said Juan Soto is better than Aaron Judge. People are so recency biased. People are weird, man. The man has 62 home runs, MVP of the league, one of the greatest outfielders on the planet Earth, and you really gonna sit there and say that?
I corrected him, Brian.
That ain't weird. I'm so glad you have him. Man, there ain't no Yankee fanboy stuff neither. Them are facts. He was MVP last year.
Judge is a Hall of Fame talent. I mean, that's all there is to it. The only question is staying on the field. That's it.
Well,
that's it.
He's a Hall of Fame. His career's on a Hall of Fame.
Yeah, the numbers don't lie. You're absolutely right, Brian. But when we talk about better player, you can't undo the fact that he's significantly younger, and he came off a season which played 162 games. He played 153 games the year before, 153 games the year before. Like you feel like he doesn't have any injury problems, Michael. He plays. So he plays every game for the most part, and he's younger. So that it's okay to factor that into better.
No, but we're not talking better long term. We're talking better today. Is he? I mean, you can't just hands down say Soto's better than Judge. I mean, Judge's numbers over the last 3 weeks, nobody in baseball has been better. So his talent level is on a level with Soto, if not a little bit higher, because he's a home run hitter and hits for average. So, I mean, you can say, well, Pete Alonso hits more home runs than Soto, but he's a 220 hitter.
He's also not the defender. But, hey, here's where this is what makes it interesting, because what do they always look at, Michael? What stat do the analytic people look at? WAR.
OPS and WAR.
All right. Well, Juan Soto's 1.9, Judge is an even 2. So,
and Judge started off the season terribly.
Well, that still counts as something. I mean, that's still part of it. So the stats that they look at. See, that's the thing about Soto. And listen, you know how I feel about analytics, but there are some analytic people that will look at numbers that we don't look at. We look at the home runs, RBIs, all that, and NRIs. But there are people in the analytic world that see numbers in Soto and they start throwing Ted Williams out. So he's not nobody. He's right there, and the fact that he's younger and the fact that he has played more games per season can factor into him being considered better by some.
Well, if you're like me, you love to spend time at home. My home is...
This program is brought to you in part by the New York Lottery. Get out there and play. Please play responsibly. Must be 18 or over.
At Domino's, we know there's a lot of pressure to tip these days.